Well, welcome back to another episode of Fox Sports Lab NRL. We are here to preview round 26. Josh Morris is alongside me as always. Josh, how you been hitting them this week?
Actually, yeah, not too bad. Actually, went and played golf with Brett on his day off. So, yeah, it was quite good. But it's all about the footy now, Eloise.
It is about the footy. We're heading to round 26, and Thursday night footy kicks off with the Panthers hosting the Eels, and what is a rematch of last year's grand final. But you take a look at these two sides, and they're about 10 places apart, given where Penrith are at, and the Eels. How do you see this one faring out this evening, Josh?
Yeah, you wouldn't have thought at the start of the year that they'd be so far apart on the ladder. The Eels, I mean, they ended their season last week with the defeat to the Roosters. They're going to have plenty of questions in the off season, and they're coming up against the Panthers, who are trying to win another minor premiership, which is a massive feat for the club. I'm not sure if they'll rest a couple of players as we get closer to the game, but I can't see Penrith losing this one. In fact, I think they'll want to make a statement heading into the finals here, and I think we could see a pretty decent score in the Panthers' favour.
We do know that Dylan Edwards won't be there this weekend as Ivan Cleary is looking to rest him, and also to Taruva. What do you think about, I suppose when you're at that point in the season where you are on the ladder, it gives you a right of way to be able to rest those players. What's your opinion on resting players at this time of the season?
Oh, look, if you can afford to, you'd be silly not to. Any chance or any game, you're a chance of getting an injury. So if you can have a week off and avoid it, especially key player like Dylan Edwards, who's been outstanding all year for the Panthers, I mean, it's a godsend. So Ivan's done it in the past, and it has paid dividends. So I've got no doubt that whoever he rests, the next man up will come up and do just as good a job. That's their system. All the players know it, and they breathe it. And yeah, I've got no doubt whoever comes in to replace the players all know their role, and every team member is confident in them.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got a very good nursery out there at Penrith at the foot of the mountains. Well, let's move on to the Friday's clash with the Warriors hosting the Dragons. Now, the Warriors are eyeing off a club record after their six in a row wins on the trot. Also, to Dallin Watene-Zelezniak. He is the most improved player, you'd have to say, for the Warriors.
It's the power of the perm. He's the hair. I mean, he's just been outstanding, hasn't he? He scored 3 tries on the weekend, but it was the ways in which he did it. There was one try where he beat about 4 or 5 defenders on his way to score the try line, and we've seen him take a number of kicks in the air to score, and also those brilliant dives where he's diving over the corner post, all his body's out, bar his hand with the ball. He has been outstanding for the Warriors. A big reason why they have been winning games, along with Sean Johnson, who plays his 250th as well. So a lot to play for the Warriors. For the Dragons, look, they'll want to put in a great performance. Obviously, they've only got 2 more games left, and they'll want to impress their incoming coach. But it is a tough ask away, and I think the Warriors will win this one comfortably.
What about the other Friday night game? The Dolphins hosting the Cowboys. The Cowboys can still potentially make the top 8. We know the Dolphins, their finals hopes are all but over. I mean, plenty to play for and plenty to prove for the Dolphins at this time of the season, and also a timed opportunity to mess with that top 8, if you will.
Yeah, definitely. And I think they've won 1 game out of their last 10, but 5 of those have been less than 6 points. I mean, they had a disappointing loss on the weekend to the Tigers, but they're welcoming some players back. So that'll give them a boost heading into this one. For the Cowboys, look, they are a slim chance of making it, so they'll want to win. I'm really looking forward to Scott Drinkwater. I think he's still the key man for the Cowboys. So I think the Cowboys will win this one, but I think it'll be a closer game than what people expect.
What about the Storm taking on the Titans on Saturday? Now, Ryan Pappenhausen has been named in the extended squad. There's every chance he could come out and play. What does this mean for Storm and also to the fans?
Oh, it's massive if he can come back and slot into that side and get at least 1 or 2 games under his belt before the final series starts. We know what type of player he is and what X factor he has got. He was touted as potentially playing Origin last year before he got injured. So that is the quality of player that he is. And whilst Nick Meaney's done a fantastic job all year in that one position, as I said, I think he's just got that X factor and he can bring that to the side and it makes them a better side. My only query with the Storm is probably their forward pack. Can their forward pack challenge the likes of a Broncos or a Penrith forward pack? But in this game, I think they've got the Titans measure and they'll win.
Would you expect Craig Bellamy to bring Pappenhausen straight back into that number one jersey? Or how would you think, or how do you think Craig Bellamy's thinking ahead of this one? How is he going to look to utilise Pappenhausen as he tries to ease them back before finals?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, whether you just bite the bullet and put him in there and see if he can get the 80 out, or you bring him onto the bench and try and get him into the game at some stage, maybe in that utility role if Meaney is having a great game. But it's a good headache to have heading into the finals time when you've got a player like that up your sleeve.
Yeah, absolutely. The next game is the Roosters hosting the Tigers. Tigers got their first win under Benji Marshall era, if you will. So they're on a little bit of a high, a confidence boost. Also to Jareen Buller, he's been phenomenal for them this season. What's been a losing side. Appy Coruscant stepped up last week. There's plenty of threat there for the West Tigers, but the Roosters have also got a point to prove to try and make the finals.
Yeah, they do. And they can't worry about the last game of the round. That is obviously versus South. They've got to worry about this one. The Tigers, they did have a good win on the weekend, and a win gives you confidence. So if they take the Tigers lightly here, the Tigers can cause an upset, but I really like the way they've gone about their business in the last month. So I'm tipping the Roosters in this one. I'm giving them one more chance, Eloise.
I love it when you give them one more chance, and so do fans because they've been winning ever since you've said it. What about the Saturday's other game, the Raiders and the Broncos? Now, we know where the Broncos are at. They're going after their first minor premiership since 2000. The Raiders are still a chance of making finals. Is this an opportunity to see where the Raiders are at in terms of their season and whether they can match it to a top two side?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is a great test, and they were pretty underwhelming last weekend in that win against the Doggies. This is a chance to show that they're capable of playing finals football, and it'll be a good measure. The Broncos, they're without their skipper, but the Broncos have a good record without Reynolds. They've won 4 from 6, so they won't be phased either. And I think Kurt Capewell, is the only Broncos player to taste victory at GIO Stadium. So for the Broncos, that'll be a new feeling for them if they get the win. But I like the way that the Broncos have played all year. For me, I don't think the Raiders will challenge if they do make the finals, and their for and against says that. I mean, they might be the first team ever to make the finals with a for and against of minus 100. So if you have that heading into finals football, you surely can't be confident or threatened, I don't think.
Yeah, absolutely. What about the Bulldogs taking on the Seagulls? Both teams out of finals contention. There really is just pride on the line in this one as they look to 2024 and wrap up the 2023 season. How do you see this one faring?
Yeah, it is. It's a bit of a danger game for Manly, I think. Obviously, they were disappointed with their loss last week to the Warriors, and the Doggies come up against the Raiders, and they were in the game for a long period there, but just lost it in the last 20 minutes. I just think the Seagulls pack and the fact Daly Cherry Evans is still competing like he is, I think he can do enough to get the Seagulls over the line in this one.
Lastly, to wrap out round 26, it's the Knights taking on the Sharks. Now, this has got to be one of the matches of the round. The Sharks have managed to turn around the last couple of weeks in terms of form and get some wins on the board. We know what sort of winning streak the Knights are on. What do you love about this matchup, and how do you see this one? Ending?
Yeah, well, I actually tipped against the Knights last week. I thought that Souths would go up there and show that they were too classy, but it was the opposite way around from the outset. The Knights, in front of a big home crowd, they were outstanding, and it's led by that man, Kalen Ponga, again. He has been sensational for them, and normally it's Dominic Young getting all the tries, but this week it was Greg Marzu getting the tries. For the Sharkies, as you said, they have had 3 wins now, and I don't think Nico Hines has lost to the Knights either. So I think they're the 2 key players in this game, Ponga and Hines. Whoever has the better game out of them two will probably secure his team the victory. But I'm on the Knights bandwagon with their surge in their momentum. I think they'll be hard to stop. And I think the last time from memory they won 7 in a row, they went on to win the competition. So could be a good omen for the Knights.
All is looking good in the Steel City. Josh Morris can't wait for round 26. We'll see you on Monday to review all of the games. Thanks so much for your time, and we'll chat to you next week.
Thanks, Eloise. Have a good weekend.
Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.